The morning sun had barely crested the horizon in Pinewood Estates, a quiet suburb of Raleigh, North Carolina, when I found myself sprinting barefoot across the jagged gravel of my driveway, clad only in flannel pajama shorts, a toothbrush foaming in my mouth. It was 6:15 a.m. on a crisp October Saturday in 2024, and my heart pounded not from the run, but from the sight before me. A tow truck hauling away my meticulously restored 1965 Shasta trailer, my labor of love for 3 years. I shouted through a mouthful of minty froth, my voice cracking with fury, as the trailer me sanctuary, my tribute trolled off into the dawn. Standing smugly on the curb was HOA President Evelyn Harper, her phone raised like a trophy, recording the scene with a smirk that could curdle milk. "Wait for the highlight reel, Junkyard King," she taunted, her voice dripping with venom. I nearly choked on my toothbrush. There was no warning, no letter, no call, just a neon yellow sticker plastered on the trailer side sometime after midnight, branding an unauthorized vehicle subject to immediate removal. The tow driver, a wiry man with tired eyes, waved an $850 invoice at me, muttering, "Sorry, pal. HOA orders." Evelyn blew him a mock kiss as he climbed back into his cab, then sauntered off like a villain exiting stage left. My driveway was left scarred with tire tracks, my pride gutted. I could have stormed the next HOA meeting, called every attorney in the county, or pounded on Evelyn's door. Instead, I stood there, toothbrush dangling, and dialed a number I hadn't touched in years. It rang once, twice, then a gravelly voice answered, "Nate, you better not be in cuffs." I wiped the foam from my chin, grinned, and said, "I need 20 Porta-Potties by Monday. Can you swing it?" A beat of silence, then a hearty laugh. "For you, man. I'll toss in some pine-scented air fresheners." That trailer wasn't just a project. It was my late brother Caleb's dream, a promise we made to restore it together before he shipped out for his final tour. He never came home. Every rivet, every polished panel, every seam in the upholstery carried his memory. It was my therapy, my closure, my defiance against loss. Evelyn didn't just tow a trailer. She desecrated something sacred. And she'd pay for it not with screams or lawsuits, but with something far more precise. By noon, I was hunched over my kitchen table, unrolling old blueprints from my days, designing layouts for music festivals and emergency relief sites. My contacts were still good, my permits still valid. I knew municipal codes better than most city planners, and I could pull a permit faster than you could say bureaucracy. I drafted an application under my old consulting firm, Horizon Events LLC, for a neighborhood sanitation preparedness drill with accessibility and odor mitigation demonstrations. It was so official it could have fooled a senator. I submitted it online with a diagram showing 20 porta-potties arranged in neat rows on the HOA's pristine community center lawn, facing Evelyn's office window. Every detail, buffer zones, non-invasive anchoring, waste tank specs was code-compliant. By Sunday evening, the city emailed me a permit number, valid for 1 week, no questions asked. Bureaucracy's beauty is its blindness. Speak its language, and it bows. I laminated the permit, tucked it into a folder labeled Operation Clean Sweep, and took a walk past the HOA clubhouse. Evelyn was inside, sipping rose through a straw, chuckling with her cronies. I overheard her say, "We'll scrub this place of riffraff before the regional inspection." She didn't see me, but I grinned wider than I had in months. That night, I scheduled the deliveries. 1 unit Monday at 8 a.m. for by Tuesday, 10 by Wednesday, all branded with signs reading Pinewood Relief Hub and slogans like "Flush Your Worries" and "Community Comfort Zone." It was legal, it was absurd, and it was about to turn Evelyn's world upside down. Monday morning, the first porta-potty arrived, a gleaming blue box lowered onto the lawn's edge. The driver glanced at the permit, shrugged, and said, "This the spot?" I pointed to the flower bed. Center stage. 10 minutes later, Evelyn emerged in a silk robe, coffee mug in hand, and let out a shriek that scattered the sparrows. "What is this abomination?" she demanded, storming toward the unit. I held up the permit. "City-sanctioned sanitation pilot, ma'am." She blinked, speechless, then slammed the clubhouse door so hard the hinges rattled. The first shot had been fired. Tuesday dawned with 3 more units rolling in, aligned like sentinels along the sidewalk. Neighbors peeked from windows, whispering, "Is this allowed? And what's Nate doing?" By noon, small crowds gathered, some snapping photos, others chuckling. Evelyn burst from the clubhouse in a crimson blazer, circling the units like a shark. "This is vandalism," she snapped. I handed her a permit copy, citing her own HOA landscaping plan that labeled the lawn a multi-use demonstration area. Her face twisted, and she stormed off, phone pressed to her ear, likely screaming at the city. The delivery guy, placing the 4th unit, muttered, "She's going to burst a gasket." I smirked. "Good. I've got plenty of relief stations." That afternoon, I added signs to each unit. Eco-friendly waste system, motion sensor lighting, and QR codes linking to a mock website, pinewoodrelief.org, featuring a cartoon toilet winking under the tagline, "Community Care, one flush at a time." By evening, the units looked like a curated exhibit. One neighbor asked if it was a public health campaign. I just nodded. Let the confusion do the work. Evelyn called an emergency HOA meeting that night. I skipped it, opting for a lawn chair, a cold soda, and binoculars. The clubhouse windows glowed with chaos-raised voices. A door slammed. One board member kicking unit's base in frustration. It didn't budge. I'd anchor them well. Later, I found duct tape and zip ties near unit Evelyn's clumsy sabotage attempt, caught on my motion-activated trail cams. I saved the footage, labeled it Exhibit A. Wednesday morning, the news vans arrived. Someone, maybe a neighbor, maybe a disgruntled board member, had tipped them off. The reporter, stifling a laugh, asked, "What's the deal here?" I handed him the permit. Sanitation awareness. Open to the public. He grinned. "This'll make a hell of a segment." Evelyn shoved into the shot, ranting about neighborhood sabotage, but the reporter waved the permit and shrugged. Her accusations, system manipulation, HOA betrayal only fueled the fire. I smiled. I do my best. By noon, social media exploded. Hashtags like "Flush the HOA" and "Evelyn Erupts" trended. A local artist painted a porta-potty mural, a throne with Queen Evelyn in glitter. Memes flooded Reddit. TikTokers danced in front of the units. 10 more porta-potties arrived at dawn, each with decals like "Justice John" and "Throne of Truth." The lawn became Privy Park, a suburban spectacle. Evelyn's calls to revoke the permit failed me paperwork was ironclad. The HOA treasurer, George Walsh, muttered to a neighbor, "We should have left his trailer alone." Too late. Things escalated when the sanitation company sent a team with deodorizer coupons. Their manager offered Evelyn a loyalty card. She screamed so loud a dog howled. Residents began questioning the trailer towing. "No warning? That's illegal," one said, citing the bylaws. Evelyn's claim of emergency safety crumbled when someone found an HOA newsletter showing her daughter hosting a party in a friend's trailer. The hypocrisy sparked outrage. By afternoon, Evelyn was taping units shut, ripping off decals caught on my cams. I sent the footage to the city. An inspector arrived, cited her for tampering with permitted equipment, and handed her a violation notice. The crowd recorded every second. George announced a vote to oust Evelyn. She stormed my driveway, hissing, "You've ruined this community." I leaned back. "Hope not." Got 6 more units coming Friday. Her jaw dropped, and she fled, muttering about federal investigations. That night, kids posed for photos by the units, one crowned royal flush with a tiara. Privy Park was a landmark. Friday brought the deluxe units. Marble vinyl, Bluetooth jazz, touchless sinks. The crowd cheered as they landed, facing Evelyn's office. I added lanterns, potted plants, and a playlist of elevator music. The inspector praised the setup, calling it the cleanest he'd seen. Evelyn's final push of motion, claiming health risks, failed. I launched flushmob.org, a satirical site for HOA reform, which went viral. The sanitation company offered me a consulting gig. My trailer returned that evening, spotlighted with a banner, "Veteran Legacy Project, Caleb's insignia gleaming. Evelyn resigned quietly, packing her office as neighbors laughed outside. The board banned unilateral tows, and Privy Park dismantled with a community send-off. The last unit stood one night, adorned with chalk flowers and a note, "Hero of the John." Months later, a block party marked the towing's anniversary, with mugs reading Privy Park Champs. The trailer shone, a symbol of victory. Flush mob grew, inspiring others to fight petty tyrants with wit and rules. But here's the kicker. Was I a hero or a petty instigator? Should Evelyn have been ousted, or was she just enforcing rules? Could the neighborhood have fought differently, or was chaos the only way? Drop your take below. Did I go too far, or was this justice? Like, comment, and subscribe for more stories where the little guy flips the script.